today, as somebody who likes all type of music, I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, I love this genre, I hate this genre. If I like the way it sounds, I like the way it sounds, but I'm very worried about the state of country music right now.
Are you?
It is absolute garbage. And you know who I blame?
Really?
Taylor Swift. Hands down.
Why is that?
Like, man, she's made it so poppy. It's the worst. I know other people have kind of done it. Like, I like Morgan Wallen, most of his stuff. But
you're gonna catch it for this one, man. First of all,
he's not wrong.
Even a country music artist, like she's just a pop artist.
No, she's country music, man.
Look, man, as long
she
as
claims country music.
As long as Chris Stapleton and Tyler Childers are still going strong, we're good.
It's not enough.
Good.
It's
How
not
about
enough.
Jordan Davis, our boy Jordan Davis says he's coming on.
I know, but
Sam
it's
Hunt
not
might be
enough.
coming on.
I'm gonna ask him.
Look,
about
man,
it.
it's like we're in Nashville. I had a buddy visit last night, went out, and you go to the Jason Aldeans and the Kid Rocks. You expect to hear some good country music. I'm going there listening to Dear Maria, Count Me In, and
I get your picture.
like Green Day and stuff like that. That's not why I'm here.
That's not it.
I think what would Hank Williams Jr. think of all this? What would the greats? What would George Strait think of all this? It's just
it ain't Hank Jr. or
place.
Waylon, man.
No, it's not even close, and it's just further drifting to bad music.
We need to do something about it.
Let's go.
We have the Math and Push-Ups campaign.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's come up with a campaign.
We need to hit up John Rich and just let's go ahead and save country music together.
We'll get some analytics behind it.
I was not expecting this on a Friday, but I love it.
It's
Do what we
Flaming
have to
Dragon
do.
Friday. You never know what to expect. The Arkansas Razorbacks are primed for a breakout year. We describe 4 NFL teams with one phrase. And Braves outfielder Marcelo Ozuna is arrested for a DUI. Come on, bro. I'm Jake Crane. It's Flaming Dragon Friday. Let's go get it. Pretty safe to say that Alabama and Georgia will once again be the class of the SEC in 2022. But a better discussion is who will be the third best team in the league. Some will say A&M. Others will say Tennessee and Kentucky. But I'm going to go with the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, where there's some question marks at wide receiver and the interior of the defensive line, they return a top-shelf quarterback in KJ Jefferson, both coordinators, and have leadership all over the place with guys like Bumper Poole and Jordan Catalon coming back. Add in the fact that Sam Pittman might be the best head coaching fit in college football, mixed with a culture that not only believes it can win, but now expects to, and you have a team that could be more dangerous than Alec Baldwin on a movie set. The schedule is daunting, but that's how it goes in the SEC. Arkansas has done nothing but overachieve since Pittman got there, and the level of physicality they play with can keep them in every big game. Kendall Briles continues to grow and evolve the playbook as an OC each year, and Barry Odom's done more with less than Will Smith in the pursuit of happiness. Their fan base is ready, the players are hungry, and Arkansas seems poised to take a big step. They also haven't suffered any major injuries in key spots throughout camp, and we're getting to the point where the game plan goes in and the dog days are almost over. They have a great test out of the gate with Cincinnati at home, so we'll know early. But I'm feeling a 10-2 season. Just remember, you heard it here first. I'm going to bring in David Cohn, my co-host. Flaming Dragon on Friday.
Days.
The best day.
The best day.
Was the best day.
Hopped off the bed.
David, I want to know, who is your third best team in the SEC? And if it's not Arkansas, why are you wrong?
I love Arkansas, but man, I'm looking at Texas A&M. At some
You're
point,
believing
they have,
in it.
At
You
some
believe it.
point, they have to break through, right? Or is this just one of those situations where I always hear Texas haters say, Texas always thinks they're back and they never are? Is this one, I keep believing in some of these programs. I mean, at some point, if you stack these recruiting classes on top of each other, the way that Jimbo Fisher has, and you bring in a very competent quarterback, an efficient quarterback in Max Johnson, I'm looking at that Texas A&M game. It's a neutral site game, I believe. And Arkansas beat Texas A&M last year. That's going to mean something to the Aggies. I'm looking at that game, but I think you hit a lot of good things. You have them 10-2, right?
10-2.
10-2. Let's start with the good things. Just like you said, you return a veteran quarterback. You return both coordinators to go with a top-tier coach in Sam Pittman, and there's no Georgia on the schedule this year.
True.
That's really what started that slide last year, that 3-game losing slide that included Auburn. No Georgia on the schedule this year. I think they go, I'll pull up the schedule in a minute, actually. So I can see Arkansas going 10-2 on paper, right? 10-2 on paper. But there's that 3-game stretch there where you're at Mississippi State, at BYU, and at Auburn, all 3 after the Alabama game. You really think they get through that unscathed?
Again, it's always a battle of attrition. when I look at the depth, it does scare me a little bit on defense. You look at that wide receiver room, you get Hazelwood as the transfer. The Satanya kid is from Fayetteville, I believe, is the speedster. They're going to rely on him, even though he's a young guy. Thompson, Knox at tight end's a guy I know they're really, really high on. I'm just big on KJ Jefferson having that rapport and that chemistry with Kendall Briles, who I think is an absolute up-and-coming star in the game. He's a guy that understands you have to be malleable while you're moving on. You can't just throw the same pitch every time. I think he has a ton of trust in KJ Jefferson. You look on the defensive line, I know they got Dominic in, the transfer from Georgia Tech, Hampton, the kid from Arkansas State, who I'm pretty high on. If the interior of the defensive line can hold up and they just don't get barraged by injuries, I think the leadership of Bumper Pool, getting Catalan back, a guy that missed 6 games, including that big stretch you were talking about. With A&M, I know we're high on Max Johnson, but I keep hearing Haynes King's going to be the guy. Would you say the same thing if Haynes King was the quarterback?
My opinion on their quarterback battle is, because I don't know that much about Haynes King. I just know.
Well, we haven't seen that much, David.
So my thing is, if Haynes King is the starting quarterback, I'm not going to come out here saying, oh, I can't believe he beat out Max Johnson. My opinion is going to be, well, Jimbo Fisher knows quarterbacks. Yeah. If this kid in camp has beaten out Max Johnson, then I think they're starting a heck of a quarterback, because I know what the floor is with Max Johnson, right? So if they think that Haynes King can go and be above that and has a higher ceiling, then look, we're going to have to see it, right? Yeah. We're going to have to see it. But let me just go through this schedule real quick, because I want to see what you and Blaine have. Because 10-2 on paper, that's awesome.
I can tell you right now, I got to lose to Alabama and Auburn.
But the SEC West never goes how it goes on paper.
That's true,
right? All right, here we go. Like you said, Cincinnati,
win.
All right, South Carolina home,
win.
Missouri State home,
win.
Yep. Texas A&M neutral site.
I got them winning that game.
Blaine, L. Okay, Alabama home.
Loss.
Then, like I said, you go to Mississippi State.
That's a win.
To BYU.
Win.
To Auburn.
Loss.
All right. You have them losing to Auburn as well? Liberty home.
Win.
LSU home.
Win.
Ole Miss home.
Win.
And then you close at Missouri.
Win. I see that. Look, I think the floor may be 9. And again, you have to say
that's a good floor, though.
That's a great floor. But again, and this isn't one of those things, oh, well, I'm going to say this to appease the fan base. I've been saying this since the end of last year. I know the schedule's tough. Liberty's no joke either. I know Malik Willis is gone, but Coach Freeze has done a really good job over there. I just think this Arkansas team, and you can say what you want about the fan base, but this Arkansas team is so together. They've grown together. They've gotten a little bit of a taste of success after the absolute 5-alarm fire that Chad Morris left Arkansas with. Yeah. I think they're confident. I think they believe, and I think they're older. You got St. John at tackle, Stromberg in the middle. You're good enough on the offensive line. I'm not going to worry about Sam Pittman or the offensive line with Sam Pittman as the head coach. So they're my third team. Blaine, who do you got?
Well, this has always been the question. Go back to SEC Media Days. Who's the third best team in the SEC? And I don't think either of you realistically can be wrong, but I've been bullish on Tennessee this whole time.
You have.
I think a lot of it has to come down with the quarterback play. Hendon Hooker, I think, is probably the third or fourth best quarterback in the nation right now. And you got to think he just walked in that system and didn't even start the first game.
Yeah.
You bring back a receiver. You lose Vila Stones Jr., who's a phenomenal player, but you bring back Cedric Tillman, 1,000-yard receiver. He's going to be a big part of it. You bring 4 starters back on the offensive line. I think that offense is going to take huge strides. The defense can only go up from here. You lost some of the transfer portal, but you got some of the transfer portal. And right now, their defense just needs identity to know who they are. Either you're going to be the team that gives up a bunch of yards, or give up third down. You have to win third down, especially in the red zone. You have to be a team that gives up 3 points, bend but don't break kind of defense. With Tennessee, can almost get you over the hump to where you need to be. With that offense, with that system, you're going to put up points. There's no question.
You're going to give up points.
You're going to give up points, but I feel like with a quarterback that's second-year returner, with the offensive line being somewhat older guys, I know you lost a great receiver, but you still have plenty of weapons on offense. I feel like Tennessee can be the type of team that wins close games. And we go back to the Arkansas schedule for a second. That BYU game ain't going to be a walk in the park.
No, it won't be a walk in the park either.
So none of those games, in the end of the day, it's the SEC. We can sit here and predict how we want. Someone's going to drop a game that they shouldn't.
Yep.
I feel like Tennessee can go and maybe win one of those games against Georgia or Bama. You said it's more likely Bama because it's a home game.
Yeah, I don't.
I can see that because you got to think Bama lost to A&M on the road, almost lost to a really bad Auburn team on the road. Now, I know the Iron Bowl is different, but if I'm going to pick a third best team, a lot of people are saying Arkansas. I think Kentucky can be a sleeper, but I'm going with Tennessee because I believe in Josh Heupel, I believe in the system, and I believe in Hendon Hooker as a quarterback.
Yeah, and I like Hooker. And by the way, before we keep going, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Remember, starting Monday, we're going in the morning, baby. Drive time, 6:30 to 8 Central. That is 7:30 to 9 Eastern. Hope you guys will wake up and join us. We're super excited about it. We're getting an extra 30 minutes added as well because we've got a ton of content coming. Great guest list, and we've made announcements. DraftKings, we're going to be doing a collab list, top 10 all sports performances with Big Game Boomer. You know, the guy you love to hate, so we're going to give him a little hell on some of those lists. But Kentucky's interesting to me. We had Jim Nagy on, executive president of the Senior Bowl, does a really good job, understands scouting. They, like I said, do a really good job over there. Levis has to start making better decisions, but my thing with Kentucky is, and I know Mark Stoops, I've given him a ton of credit, they've built it from the inside out. Wan'Dale Robinson was a huge loss. Look what he's doing right now. Mm-hmm. Like he saved Will Levis a lot, and he could turn that 3-step slant, 2-step slant into an 80-yard touchdown. He also made Will Wright a lot on the deep ball, whether it was coming back, whether it was being able to run it down. The dude's probably a hell of an outfielder if you put him in the outfield. There's no telling what he could run down. I'm just not as bullish on Kentucky. So it's going to be really, really interesting, guys. But I do, Cone, want to go to the Booster Club real quick and see what they're saying because I can just feel it.
Okay, Brad Mater. What's up, Brad? Hashtag Cranico. Who's better, the third best team in the SEC or the second best team in the Big Ten?
Second best team in the Big Ten. I think it's close. Right now, again, you know, we've talked about Purdue being really sneaky over there with what Braum is doing, bringing O'Connell back, some of the guys that returned for Purdue. But obviously, you're looking at Ohio State and Michigan right now. That's the class of the Big Ten. Michigan State's on the come up, even though I do think they're going to lose at Washington. Remember, I said that. You know, if Michigan played Tennessee, and I'm talking about during the regular season, not in some off bowl game where there's opt-outs. I know Purdue beat Tennessee last year in an absolute shootout, but some of those bowl games on the periphery, I'm not as worried about. It's close. It's really, really close. Where I think the SEC separates from the Big Ten is once you get to the middle of the pack. Yeah. That's where I think the big separation is. But I think it's an interesting argument. I'd take the second team in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I would take the second team in the Big Ten, too. I think where the SEC has a leg up is the SEC East is far more competitive than the Big Ten West, right?
Very
If you're
true.
just looking at the East there, like we talked about before, I think the Big Ten East is the second most competitive division in college football.
Yeah, it's the SEC West, Big Ten East, SEC East.
I think that that's right. And you're talking about Kentucky. I can't think of two programs who remind me more of each other than Kentucky and Arkansas with that blue-collar mentality that they have.
I see that coming.
Mark Stoops and Sam Pittman remind me a lot of each other. And then my thing with Will Levis and KJ Jefferson both this year is, can those two guys throw their teams to victory late in games when they're down on the road?
And both guys are really good runners in the red zone.
They're really good runners in the red zone. Can they throw their team to victories late in game on the road? I want to know that from both of them.
That's a big question.
All right, Texas Ed, how long until the state of Florida gets back to the dominance of the 90s and 2000s?
You know, I think Miami's going to come up really quick. I had a whole diatribe about that. I think it was last week. I'm really excited about Mario getting there. Billy needs time. That roster at Florida, as weird as it is to say, just isn't ready. Florida State and Mike Norvell, that's a big question mark. You got to get a quarterback that can play. Like Jordan Travis, like cool story. I don't believe in it. And until Florida State makes a commitment to get the resources like Miami has and the facilities like Miami has, go find your local billionaire. I know Florida State has one out there. I think Florida State is going to be behind those two. And I tell you what, if they don't watch out, they're going to fall behind UCF going to the Big 12. And it's weird that Florida State hadn't had a winning season since 2016. That's so weird to say that. That's
Say
so
it again?
Hadn't had a winning regular season since 2016. I don't believe Florida State hasn't, which is amazing to say. You grew up a Florida State fan, but right now, Florida is always hard to count out, especially if Billy just does okay this year because Florida recruits itself. You're in the SEC, obviously have those big games. That's a lot of exposure. Great state to recruit from. UCF could jump Florida State. I'm just telling you right now, in the next 2 to 3 years, if Florida State doesn't make that commitment, because they're just kind of in purgatory.
Think about that statement. Think about that for a second. I mean, we grew up watching Chris Winkie going undefeated, winning national championship.
Warwick Dunn, Peter Warwick. I mean,
that is just an incredible statement to make. It's sad, and we're gonna show a microcosm of what's wrong with the Florida State program later.
That's exactly right.
Our Kyle Kennedy says 3 things are certain: death, taxes, and Texas A&M going 8-4.
but I'll say this, and we'll laugh, ha ha ha. You know, Texas, I get it. It's the running joke. But like I said a couple weeks ago, 2023 is the year that I am looking at for A&M. And I know it's hard to ask a fan base that has been patient since 1939. I get it, okay? I get it. In 1939, the draft was a little bit different than the one we talk about that happens earlier in the year. So I get that it's hard for A&M fans to be patient. But with what you return, another year for either one of those quarterbacks, whether it's Haynes King, whether it's Max Johnson, O-line comes back, D-line comes back. You have stacked enough recruiting classes. I get it. Jimbo's been there for 5 years. But 2023, it's like a good doctor. You just need to have patience. That's it.
I agree. I agree if you're talking about the breakout year, right? Like what Georgia did last year. But think about Georgia the last few seasons. Before they broke out and won it all, they were still right there on the cusp. I don't think, even if next year is Texas A&M's year, you can't lead up to that with multiple like 8-4, 8-4, 8-4, right?
Well, I don't know. We say that. I watched Gus Malzahn take an Auburn team in 2013 that was coming off a 3-9 year, I think, or something crazy like that, and take them all the way to the national championship. And now with the transfer portal and NIL, because we used to say the old adage was it takes 3 cycles, right? You need 3 before NIL. It takes 3 recruiting cycles to get your culture developed. Because what are the 3 pillars we talk about, right? Recruiting, development, and culture. You bring them in, you develop them. That bleeds into your culture. You turn it into a machine. But I just feel like A&M has recruited so well, and they have so much talent. And with all that coming back, and all the naysayers and all the hate that they hear every year, it is a matter of time. I think they are a volcano that is getting ready to erupt in 2023, and it'll be great to add another one to the list because right now it's Bama, Ohio State, Georgia, and you could say Clemson. I'll still say Clemson. They had a down year and won 10 games. If you're having down years and winning 10 games, sign me up for that plan, bud.
What do you tell A&M fans after 2023 if they go 8-4?
Then it's that we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Excuse me, College Station, we have a problem.
Changes.
Come and face the change. Sorry, I'll go on that.
All right, Cody Nason, 95. This is good. If you put Kirk Cousins on Arkansas, do they win the Natty?
Yes. Do they win the Natty?
Yeah. No.
No, they don't win the Natty. Why are we talking about Kirk Cousins again? Y'all always do this. Y'all wait till about 15 minutes in the show. We could be talking about silly putty. We could be talking about a vocabulary test. Somehow Kirk Cousins is going to come up.
He's going to come up now.
I'm going to get Kirk on the show. I need to make a clip of all the times I've shown Kirk Cousins love. And if he doesn't come on the show, I may just flip.
Blaine might conveniently be sick that day.
Yeah, I know.
No, you think I'd miss that?
No.
You think I'd miss
Blaine will talk about Baker Mayfield.
Mid?
Yeah.
To call him mid.
God.
Wow.
No shot you would do it.
Oh, really?
Zero.
No, that was I
really.
Those chances.
How much you want to put on that?
You can put that poll out.
I guarantee
you could put that poll out.
To his face, what is he going to come audit me? All right, David Vernon says, Blaine, this is my last day in the chat because I cannot watch the new time slot. David, that's okay. You'll be here in spirit.
Yeah, you'll be here in spirit. And
That's
look, man, if you're getting to sleep in or you're working, I mean, either way.
You can catch the show right after, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's the cool thing. The show will actually be up longer. I mean, it'll get on audio longer. It'll be on YouTube longer. And look, I got a feeling you may sneak your way back in.
Cal Kennedy says Arkansas is 16-6 against the spread under Sam Pittman. Reminder: good teams win. Great teams.
That is a deep dive.
They were a covering machine. Last year.
Our buddy Chris Marler told him that at SEC Media Days. He thanked him, so I wanted to thank you for that.
Sour Carson says, could you see BYU making a run and going undefeated because of what they return?
Let's pull up BYU's schedule real quick, if you don't mind, David. BYU, and obviously I talked about Utah the other day, how it's the most underrated state in football, in my opinion, college football, obviously. I know they have a ton of pieces. I want to go through the schedule. If we're talking about making a run, are we talking about going to the playoff? Or are we talking about having another big year? I know they had a big year last year. Hell, it seems like every school in the state of Utah did. But, Fresno State to me could be the Cincinnati of this year. You look at where BYU is, though. You look at where they're ranked and some of the love they're getting. That would not be a bad pick. I almost went with them. But let's go through that schedule.
At South Florida.
Win.
Baylor home.
Win.
Do you think
I'm going to go loss. I'm going to go loss there.
Okay. At Oregon.
Loss.
Wyoming home.
Win.
Utah State home.
Win.
Notre Dame neutral site.
Win.
Arkansas home.
Loss.
At Liberty.
Win.
East Carolina.
Win.
At Boise State.
Win.
Utah Tech.
Oh, that's the old Dixie State. Yeah. Win.
At Stanford.
Win.
So you have 3 losses?
Yeah, I got 9. I got them going 9-3. God, that's a tough schedule too, man.
I love it, BYU.
It seems like Arkansas. It seems like
the Notre Dame game. That's what I don't
know. Is it the one they're playing in like Ireland or something? Maybe I'm losing my mind here, but let's go one more to the Boots Club.
All right, Jimmy Dugals.
Jimmy, what's up, dog?
Jake, you're too high on Miami.
I'm too high. Well, again.
Hold on. Let me finish the question. What would Miami's record be if you put them in the SEC, East or West, over the next 3 years?
Well, again, I'm going to be like Nick Saban. Hypotheticals. They're in the ACC. They're not going to the SEC. That's one of the reasons I can be high on them. I mean, you look at what Clemson's been able to do, build an SEC team in the ACC. I think you're going to see Miami do the same thing. I got Miami, I believe, going 8-1 in the ACC this year. I'm huge on Van Dyke. Here's the thing. Here's my Mario Cristobal. I will continue to say this, and it's one of the most cliche things ever. The game is won and lost up front. We know that. But the quickest way to bridge the gap and make yourself relevant, not just to knock on the door, but go through the door, is up front on the offensive line and defensive line. Look at what Mario Cristobal's doing already. They have 2 of the best offensive tackles committed in the country. He is going to build that thing from the inside out. And Miami, you have skill players that want to go to Miami from here until the sun comes up. So I think when you look at where Miami is, because they're in the ACC, so to kind of counterpoint your question, and I see where you're coming from here, and I'm not thinking they're going to win the national championship this year. I think they will play. They will make the playoff, even if it stayed at 4, and have a chance to play for a national championship within the next 5 years because Mario is an unbelievable fit there. He can recruit well. We know he can develop culture. I like the staff they've put together, and it's Miami. It's a national brand. So I may be giving them too much credit. I may be giving the brand too much credit, but it's just how I feel, man. I'm going Peter Parker on this. The spotty senses are off the chart right now.
I don't even know it's more about Miami with you. I think it's more about Mario Cristobal with you.
Well, I think it's both. I think it's both.
Yeah, we go back to, I think last year you were higher on Mario Cristobal than you were Dabo Swinney.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I think it's more Mario Cristobal, and now it's just the perfect fit.
Well,
He's the key, and now the door he's walking through.
Well, sometimes, again, it's kind of the
best of both worlds.
Combination of the – it's the perfect situation. It's the perfect storm at Miami because, again, Miami – I know there's differences with LSU. LSU runs that state, but those are like national brands that have a lot of swag. Kids love that stuff. They gravitate to it, and all Miami needs is a spark. That's it. You give Miami a spark, and they can start a forest fire. That's just how it works.
Notre Dame, BYU play in Vegas. Allegiant Stadium.
The Ireland of the United States.
Yeah. Miles Penron, who says, you guys must have not watched much Utah and Boise State games, have you?
No, Boise State's good.
I watched a good.
Yeah, I've got Utah going 9-0 in the Pac-12. So, but believe me, I'm.
Or is that what he's saying? Is he saying we're too high on them?
No,
we're saying we haven't watched them enough.
Yeah, but believe me, Cam Rising, I can go.
We both have Utah.
Yeah,
winning the Pac-12.
We've deep dove on Utah. I'm big on Cam Rising.
Oregon.
Love the Tavian kid at running back. With what they return up front, and they're so well coached. I mean, I think Whittingham is probably the most underrated coach, honestly, in college football. I know Boise State's going to be good. I know they're picked to finish high. I know they're getting votes to get ranked. But again, I'm big on Fresno State this year when we're talking about Boise, right? Right, when we're talking about that matchup. But when it comes down to Utah, I mean, they are a school that continues to rise and rise and rise, and it was so big, pun intended, Cameron Rising coming in when they were struggling. Remember, they started 1-2 last year. Cam Rising comes in, I think it was against San Diego State, where they were struggling. He came in and looked really good, and then they just absolutely took off. I think Utah is ready to take that next step as well. But we've watched Utah, dude. I've watched so much football. Again, I don't see any. When I close my eyes, I see it. So that's kind of what we do here.
All right, Blaine Denton says, I think BYU is good, but a tough schedule. No.
Yeah, 9-3 would be a good
not
year.
a super easy schedule.
No, it's not at all. Well, see, that again, and I know I give Notre Dame a lot of hell for their schedule typically, but there's some independent schools that they have some schedules this year, man. Like they're not afraid to schedule people. Notre Dame schedule, I mean, that's a fist fight almost every week. BYU schedule, they're not ducking the smoke from anybody. They're playing Notre Dame. They're playing SEC schools. They're playing the top of the top. So again, kudos to those guys. But it's a battle of attrition, and that's the trick, is trying to get your guys up as much as you can for every game, which is the hardest thing to do. You can really get them playing at elite level and up for about 3 to 4 games. But let's move on. We're going to get back to the Booster Club. Let's move on and do some phrases here. I love this.
NFL teams.
The last video we did on this blew up.
Yeah, NFL teams described in one phrase. Deshaun Watson suspended 11 games. Let's start with the Browns.
Let's start with the Browns.
You guys got
you want me to go
phrase for the Browns?
My phrase for the Browns? Survive.
Really?
Yeah.
You got to survive for 11 weeks. You're not. And Deshaun Watson didn't look great because he hadn't played in, seems like, 7 years. But you got to survive. Robert Downey Jr. meme.
Playoffs? They go in the playoffs?
No. I'm just saying it can't be just an absent. Oh, my God.
Or maybe it should be.
Well, what are they going to do? Draft a quarterback?
I mean, not even that. You're going to get a top 5 pick.
Yeah. I just think you got to survive till week 12. Wow, NFL. 11 games. See what you did there. Playing the Texans. Yeah.
Mine was, this is not going to be the happy ending everybody thought it would. No pun intended.
Okay.
No pun intended.
That's
well, I just think, you paid this man a lot of money to come fix everything for the Browns. So we'll see. We'll see. You're putting a lot of faith in a guy that hadn't played, which is going to be basically for 2 years, and to come in and fix everything. And we go back to the Browns' track record on quarterbacks.
It ain't good.
It ain't the prettiest. So we'll see. It might not just be the happy ending.
All right. Look, my phrase for the Browns is, it's time to fade yourself
Yeah, it's
know?
unfair.
After decades of disappointment, look, what's the worst that could happen? Every decision that you want to make,
Do the opposite.
Do the opposite.
Yes.
Fade yourself. Do the exact opposite. Just try it for 3 years.
I think it's
What's
brilliant.
the worst that could happen? Maybe the franchise turns around.
Who knows? Y'all may just start rolling off Super Bowls. Because again, what do we say about betting? If you know you're wrong,
There it is.
you can be right.
Fade yourself. Every
exactly
decision,
right.
from the front office down, from
That's
ownership down.
Vontae Mack,
All
no
right.
matter what.
Cowboys.
Stay away, Jerry. Just stay away. Just stay away. Don't touch it. Do I think Mike McCarthy is the best coach in the world?
Yes.
No. Do I think he's the worst coach in the world? No.
Yeah.
But Jerry Jones is he's like Stromboli. He's like Geppetto. He builds the puppet and then he plays with it. Like the last time they gave a guy, he got off somebody's back was Jimmy Johnson. They did well. I think Mike McCarthy is kind of just, super mid. But Jerry Jones has done nothing but ruin the Cowboys basically since they were having success. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And guess what? Probably 80% of Cowboys Nation agrees with me. That's the funny part.
But he had a lot to do with the success, right? When they won 3 Super Bowls, or you're not giving him any of that?
Yeah, I'm gonna give him some credit on that. But if you were smart, if it was so much of your doing, why haven't you won another one?
Fair enough. What's yours?
Well, I'm pretending to be Dak Prescott right here. All right, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not their fault. It's their fault. Skinny Tony. I think the Dallas has to get better on places that matter. You're only getting older up front. Ezekiel Elliott has to start being the Zeke that they wanted him to be. The defensive line, you get Micah Parsons.
Got to stop getting linebackers hurt.
Yeah, you got to stay healthy, and your defense has to play better. I know everyone loves Trevon Diggs, and I know he got 13 interceptions last year, but you really go back and watch the tape last year, he was steadily getting roasted.
He's all pro.
Yeah, I know he's all pro, but I mean, I've seen certain guys, you go watch, you can't jump the hitch every time. You can't bite on the first move every time. You will get a certain amount of picks, but he got dusted on a lot of plays in the playoffs. It basically cost him. So you have to be a full unit. You have to stop blaming Dak Prescott for everything, and you have to start playing as a team, especially deep in the playoffs.
Well, it seems like Sean Lee and Van Der Esch get hurt more than a high school girl.
Yeah, I can't stay healthy.
That is true. Look, Jerry needs a no man.
Yes.
Look, I took this one from you. You were talking about when they won all those Super Bowls with, Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin, and those guys aren't walking through the door anymore, but who was in charge? Jimmy Johnson was the head coach, and Jimmy Johnson was an old school friend and teammate of Jerry Jones, and he was making a lot of those decisions, right? He could tell Jerry Jones no because of their previous relationship. No one's been able to do that since. He surrounded himself with yes men. That is not a good recipe for success.
No, I'm with you. I like that one. That may be the best one so far.
Bucks.
Time waits for no man except Tom Brady.
Oh, time's
I know he's not there. People are saying he may be on The Masked Singer. This may be there's some sort of rabbit hole
Is that what
theory.
you heard?
Look, with Tom Brady, who knows? But it's hard for me. I know I'm taking the Chargers to win the Super Bowl. That's right. I said it. Shout out Phillip Rivers. But Tom Brady, to me, the witch of them all, the sorcerer of everything. He's Gandalf, okay? This guy, I know they've had injuries. Worfs, I know they have had a bunch of injuries, but I just believe in Tom Brady so much. Mike Evans, you see what they have. Godwin's out there painting pretty pictures. At the end of the day, just TB12. He sleeps in a hyperbaric chamber. He eats leaves. I just believe in this guy.
Mine's, where are you? Tom, please come back. I'm getting worried. I'm starting to get worried.
You're nervy?
Bowles came out and said, they put a timetable on it. He's going to be back Saturday. He's going to be back this weekend. Then he came out and was like, well, he might not be back this weekend. He didn't put a timetable on. We need to find out what's going on with Tom. Are you okay? Is there anything I can do? Anything the team can do? Because if you take Tom Brady off the Bucs, you become mediocre extremely.
Byron Leftwich's going to have to go out there and start playing.
Yeah, so mine's, where are you?
Look, mine is Giselle. You get him for the rest of your life. Can we have him for one more season?
I know. Calm down.
Tom, I get it.
He's only played 38 years. I mean, what's one more? Just wait.
You get him for the rest of your life. All right, let's go Packers.
That's fine.
Last one.
All right,
Last one.
That's fine. I'll do it myself. Aaron Rodgers has nothing around him. No wonder he's out there taking acid and drinking ayahuasca and, mentally climbing to the top of Mount Everest and doing hot yoga next to a volcano. He's got no help. None.
Yeah.
Nada. So, again, everybody's like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is coming out talking about the receivers. They need to get better. Yeah, they do. You want to know why? Because they're not good. That's why.
Right.
I love Tanyan at tight end, but Aaron Rodgers is just going to have to, and Lazard's good. He's not elite. But Aaron Rodgers is going to have to do it himself. And you know what? He's good enough to do it up to a certain point. And I know last year in the playoffs, they didn't have a great, they didn't blow the scoreboard out in the last one. But, man, no Devontae Adams. It's You just got to do it yourself. It sucks for Aaron, but it is what it is.
All right.
That's why he's dating witches.
Yeah, he's trying to unlock.
He's trying to unlock that.
He's trying to move the ball with his
That's
mind
exactly right. On the sidelines.
Sometimes we must let go of our pride and do what is requested of us. Anakin Skywalker Clone Wars movie, I believe the second one. If Aaron says you're bad, you're bad. You need to get better. You need to get better. Put your pride aside. What have you done? Who are you? You're not him. Look at him. That's not you. You might never do that. All right? You're a rookie wide receiver. Clean up your routes. Improve your timing. And trust in Aaron Rodgers. Put your pride aside. I know Anakin Skywalker turned into Vader. It didn't go well for him. But Aaron's a little Anakin Skywalker.
He's got some Anakin in him.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the high. He doesn't have the high ground, but doesn't he have the high ground?
Packers phrase, I couldn't decide between let's just lose to San Francisco now or we're basically a Game of Thrones sequel. I mean, this guy's dating witches, taking ayahuasca, dressing up like Nicolas Cage from Con Air. I'm like, I can't tell the difference between the new Packers story and whatever the new House of Dragons.
That's exactly. He's going to be a Targaryen before this is said and done. But we do want to remind you before we get to the break here that we are going in the morning next week. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and guess what? We have a video mailbag. And we're super duper excited about it. We're going to make a debut here very shortly on our first video mailbag question. So we'll have a URL that's very, very easy to follow. But we have our best of the week before we go to the break. We're coming right back. Booster Club, get your feet chopping. It's getting hot over here. Let's run the clip. My brother, who could quite possibly sell you a reverse mortgage or go coach a team.
I did hear back.
Oh, you did hear back?
He's dead.
I also think that Ohio State has a physicality problem.
That was like watching Harry Potter and Voldemort.
Nah, I love it.
It just feels weird. It's like, I didn't know I was working for CNN.
Ride with the sword, we die with the sword, whatever they say.
Look, again, I'm not a connoisseur, but we'll see.
Hey, can I get a salted caramel frappuccino?
Yeah.
I know it.
Just so happy. Just listening to you guys for the last 5 minutes, I think you guys hit pretty much every single thing on the head. And by the way, Jake, you know I love you, bro.
Can I get a salted caramel frappuccino?
That actually sounds better.
That sounds better.
Yeah.
This is flaming chocolate.
All right, if you want to watch the rest of this, remember you can listen to it when we stay here. That was super dope. Head over to the Daily Wire Plus, become a member, listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Go subscribe on YouTube and leave us a 5-star review on Apple and Spotify. Share it with your friends. More great stuff coming back, baby. We'll be back in a second. All right, everybody, welcome back. Like I said, we are starting our video mailbag when we go to the mornings next week, starting on Monday. And we have our first submission from a guy, I think Ben Chaparro? Chaparro, I think what it was. Let's run the clip. Shaprino. Okay, here we go. Let's run the clip.
Hey, guys, I heard that you're starting a new mailbag. I'm pretty pumped about it. I want to be the first one with a question. So, baseball is my favorite sport. It's obviously losing viewership dramatically. There's a lot of questions about timing. What does baseball need to do to fix itself?
Yeah, great there.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Ben Shapiro, obviously, it speaks for itself. Huge baseball fan, huge White Sox fan. We chop it up about baseball whenever we get to see him. Here's what baseball needs to do. They have to start marketing their stars. You know, I don't give and I know they're trying with Shohei and stuff like that. They've got to find out a way to do it better. We can talk about picking up the pace of the game, and I get that, especially the young generation. That the attention span is not nearly as wide as it was in the 60s and 70s because of what we have around us and the availability of technology and that stuff. But they need to market their stars better. And you know what? Like, I'm a fan of the DH move as well. Like, stuff like that, making it a little more offensive, but being able to and there's so many great stars in the game right now. You look at Shohei. You look at guys like Acuna. Hell, you look at the Braves' young core they got right now. You just, in general, O'Neal Cruz. I know Tatis just got hit with that suspension, which I think was ridiculous, but you have got to find a way, like the NBA does, of marketing your stars better. The NFL does a great job of it too, but the NFL, to me, it's a little bit easier because it is football.
I think the problem that Major League Baseball has is, in order to truly captivate a new, younger audience, you would have to change the game so dramatically that baseball purists would hate that.
See, is there a middle ground, though?
I think baseball has tried that, and it's made baseball purists mad, and it hasn't done enough to gain that new audience, right? Like, I don't know what Blaine's going to say.
I know what Blaine's going to say.
Probably steroids and fighting in the middle of the game, maybe go 7 innings instead of 9. They have made commercial breaks shorter, right? So that is good, and I think that is helping. I can notice that games are coming back quicker, but I think that, for instance, golf doesn't have this problem. Golf leans in on its exclusivity. Right? Golf says less is more.
Yep.
Less is more. There's plenty of us, right? And we're fine with the matches being slow. We don't call ourselves America's pastime. Baseball has done that. So it either needs to stay, appease baseball purists by doing what it's been doing and just say, hey, we have fewer fans and that's what it's going to be, or change the game dramatically by shorter innings, maybe even fewer innings, and go all in on maybe some.
See, that's a drastic change.
And that's drastic.
What audience are you trying to target?
Well, reduce the regular season a little bit.
Yeah, that's why
obvious.
You got to shorten the regular season.
Okay.
Way too many games. All right, and you have to target. Are you targeting usually the baseball purists are older guys, right? They're older.
How dare you?
Yeah, they're usually the younger generation is not super pure when it comes to baseball. So what audience are you targeting? Are you going to stick with the old heads that the reason why you're not getting your best ratings? Or are you going to change with the times? Now, what do you change is the biggest question. I don't think you shorten the game to 7 innings. That just won't feel right.
Okay.
Shorten
the season though.
Shorten the season.
Shorten the season.
Go 120 regular season games, or go 100.
And what else?
It's just, it needs to be quicker.
Well,
it takes too long.
Collisions at the plate, we need to bring that back.
Yeah.
Like, say what you want. I know Buster Posey got hurt. I know a couple other guys got hurt. Well, guess what? You play sports, you get hurt. When I watch baseball, I want to see collisions at the plate.
Yeah.
All right, I want to see things like that. Now, catchers, to be honest with you, can't even block the plate. We were talking about Austin Hedges.
Our boy Chris was talking about that.
It's absolutely ridiculous. They've made it so, like they've taken out the physicality a little bit of baseball. The shift, I don't really have that big of a
Got to
problem
ban the shift.
I don't
Gotta
think
ban
things like automated strike zone and banning the shift, that's not going to do it.
How many
You love base hits, David, right?
How many people
love base hits?
That's
you like doubles more than home runs.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be done. I'm saying that's small thinking. That's not what it's going to take. People, one of the things is this idea, this desire to constantly go up to the plate and hit a home run, I also think is ruining baseball. It's the same thing that I talk about in basketball a lot, where everyone wants to break someone's ankle or posterize them with a dunk. No one appreciates the small ball anymore. And small ball is not just about baseball. You can do it in basketball. You can do it in football. The other day, I know I'm partial to this because I missed a bet doing it. Dodgers have runners on first and third, no out. No one's laying down a bunt. No one's laying down a bunt to get that run in anymore.
Like nobody squeezes anymore. Nobody sack bunts anymore. Hell, they don't even steal bases anymore.
People want to see that. I'd rather see 4 back-to-back doubles, right, than 1 home run in an inning.
No, they don't.
Well, I think there's a happy
People don't want to
medium
see bunts.
But Blaine,
Well,
I think
I do. I wanted to see a bunt the other day. I want to see a squeeze.
And the shift hurts small ball. That's what the shift does.
Really? Oh, the shift hurts small ball. So when everybody shifts to one side of the infield,
the more the small ball, you can run more small ball stuff with people on base. That's what you do. You want to talk about squeezes, stealing. The shift hurts people getting on base because it's all analytics. It's all numbers. Fewer people are getting on base now because the shift is a real thing.
Well, look, I'm not against banning the shift. I'm just saying that alone is not going to solve the problem that Ben's asking about.
People aren't just going to go running back to baseball in droves because they banned the shift. Yeah. You'll get some, but it is what it is. What's the Booster Club say?
Okay, all right. Let me get back in here after I just went on that tangent.
Yeah.
But it was a good one.
I enjoyed it.
You feel good about it?
Matthew Roberts says, hey, Matthew, I liked your idea earlier. He said I should come up with my own segment called It's Mid.
It's Mid?
It's Mid.
I like that.
Yes,
Wow.
that is on brand.
That's copyrighted by Crane & Company.
Okay, Matthew Roberts says, make Blaine the MLB commissioner. Steroids in the 7th inning brawls, it would be a must-watch. But if you're not, listen, I mean, to be honest, if you're not the MLB, right, and you just make another league, and you make steroids legal, you make fighting legal, how long do you think that league will last?
It'll probably do.
I have long legs.
Long legs. I'm just saying, like, if you really want to sell tickets, I would buy that ticket. Let's see here. Andy Vela says, Cone, I agree with you. I think you're hitting this on the head.
I love it.
Love to see that. Midnight to Crane to Georgia said, maybe baseball would be so boring to me if they shortened the games and it didn't, and I didn't suck at it. That's okay.
Well, one of those things they can fix.
Blaine Denton says, does less cable subscription and fans being blacked out from watching their own teams not factor in?
I can't watch the Braves.
Look, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. The way they've done it's so stupid. And sometimes you get fights in between companies and people will black it out. But the fact that it's blacked out in some places like the state over, it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. You know what? That's why, like, the best way to watch baseball, MLB Tonight. really, to be honest with you, quick pitch, great, best way to watch highlights. They need some sort of red zone type channel for Major League Baseball as well. I know MLB Tonight goes and gives updates, and maybe they have one that I haven't found yet. But I also find it funny that, you know how, like, I saw something the other day, they're like, hey, for $100, you can get all your TV apps that you like and put them together in one place. You mean like cable?
Oh, sounds like Wolf off The Office.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
All right, Fraley Ginger Gang says baseball is a leisurely game. Mark it as a peaceful break from a fast-paced life. Have a cold beer and a hot dog and maybe a pretzel. Get some hot dog races going between innings. Get some funnier announcers.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the C&C guys do
That's a
again.
good
That'd be
point.
great. Speaking of funny announcers in baseball, we got our not top play today. That even though there was an injury, it is absolutely.
Hey,
you know what?
He makes a good point, though. Hold on. About maybe it's not about more fans. Every commissioner is trying to go global as much as they can. It's about the right fans. You know,
That's true.
you'd rather
I
have
agree
these
with
baseball purists, but I mean, if you're not bringing new people to the game, I do understand.
But now that we're talking about it, let's go ahead and do our not
top play.
Yes. So
Look at
I want to
Nomar.
look at Nomar, man. He still looks like he play.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers were playing last night, playing the Brewers, I believe. And, you know, they have the slide, the big slide there. And so one of the announcers, the commentators, whatever, had always wanted to go down the slide. And look, I'll tell you at the end what happened. And I'm going to try to make it through this without laughing, but there's no possible way. Let's go ahead and roll
I haven't
it.
seen this.
USA's been talking for 3 days about going down the slide here in Milwaukee. I've never heard somebody so excited about doing anything, and David did do it today. Watch.
All right, here we go.
If you're an audio, you got to go. You realize you made a mistake.
Holy crap! Holy crap! Holy crap!
Oh! Laughing at him.
Strike on Muncie. Oh, no. Okay.
He's hurt. He's legit hurt, bro.
It's okay.
He broke it?
Ribs and his arm.
He broke his ribs.
Watch this. Watch this.
Hi, guys. Is that Tom Hart's brother?
Cruise style. I tried
Oh, my God. I tried to make it so that I couldn't.
And you're looking at the full.
I love it.
He broke his ribs and his wrist. Dog, you got to learn how to fall better coming off the slide.
I guarantee he played no sports tonight.
None at all. I know he got hurt, and I feel bad for him, but that's Cone. I saw that last night. I was by myself. You know something's funny? When you just laugh out loud by yourself.
I agree.
He
That's
seems
how
like
you
he has a good energy about it.
Oh,
he
man.
does. He wore
Look.
it well.
You sent it. I love it. Now,
Full
you
send.
hit the gas and
Yeah.
screamed America. I mean, you're going to be able to tell your kids about that.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
You know?
Maybe. Maybe you want to.
Maybe.
No, I'm telling them definitely.
Maybe.
You're telling him. You're telling his
sure.
kids that. But all right, you ready for a little
All
rapid
right,
fire?
Rapid fire updates. Derwin James is now the highest paid safety in NFL history. 4 years, $76 million. Do you stand by the Chargers winning the Super Bowl?
I stand by the Chargers winning the Super Bowl. That defense is going to be hell on wheels. Derwin James patrolling the back end, making sure everything's cool. Bosa on one side, Khalil on the other. It's an emotional time to be on the Chargers defense. Offensively with Justin Herbert absolutely taking off. Keenan Allen, we can go through the list of dogs they have. I think the Chargers are Super Bowl champs. It was a great job to lock Derwin up. He's a hell of a player, a guy that can do multiple things. He's really versatile at the safety position. I tell you what, that AFC West, one of the best divisions I've seen in the NFL in a long time, bud.
Facts. I think Blaine called this. You called Derwin James that he was going to get a deal done before the season.
I mean,
right?
the dude's an absolute freak.
Yeah.
An absolute
Better
freak.
be. Highest
They
paid
don't,
in
but he,
history.
like, this man can cover, can run.
He's versatile, man.
Tackle.
Army knife.
He's smart. He knows how football. He's very intuitive on the field. And this defense for the Chargers, bro, I'm telling you, it's going to name a better defense.
Well,
That's why one of the reasons I'm picking
I
him.
mean,
I'm glad they got this done. All right, we have to talk about Mike Tomlin here. You were
Yeah,
showing me
love
this
Mike
earlier. Set this up. This is amazing.
All right, so Mike Tomlin, and this was, I think, John Boy and then Jay Glazer were talking about this. So Mike Tomlin was driving down the street, and there were some kids in the street that were fighting. So Mike Tomlin pulled his car over, head coach of the Steelers, talked to him, then invited them to come out and get some ladder work and work on team building, whatever. This is such a cool clip. This is what sports gives you. This is the way we should treat it. We shouldn't treat it like we treat politics. We shouldn't treat it like we treat everything else in society with nothing but absolute vitriol. This is what it's about. Watch Najee and these kids real quick. Let's play the clip.
Watch your feet.
Najee still got it. You can just see their faces. Like you can see how happy they are. I mean, again, and this is what it is. This is growth. Teaching young men, boys, how to play together, how they should act. I mean, look at their faces, man. You're out there with Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. That's what it's about. And kudos to him. I mean, again, we always have stories. We talk about this Deshaun Watson mess. We talk about this Antonio Brown mess. We talk about all these things that go on. But it's amazing how sports is such a great teacher of life. These kids will remember this forever. It'll do nothing but make them better. And again, Mike Tomlin, I've liked Mike Tomlin the whole time he's been there. One of the best coaches in the NFL. I mean, you just look at the record that he has there, and it's just a really, really cool story.
The long-term positive effects that this can have on these kids, it's really incalculable.
For sure.
You don't know, because not only do you keep these kids out of trouble this time, right, but the next time they may be about to get in trouble, this is going to stick with them. And maybe it rubs off on their friends. Like, this is how you become a leader in the community.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, just it's amazing the outlets you can give kids to really just, if they want to focus on something that's fun and competitive. Because at the end of the day, we're mostly all competitive. And I know I love Mike Tomlin, but I love Najee Harris too, man.
For sure.
Najee Harris, you go back to Alabama, Najee Harris always just been an absolute stand-up guy. Never about himself, always about the team and the community. And, man, I watched him the other day. There was a video out there. Practice was over. He was out there 2 hours after practice running hills. Yeah. You can tell these guys, they came from somewhere, and it's not about them, and the only thing they do is give back. And we need a lot more of that.
Very true.
Najee almost went to Michigan. Oh, sad times.
Well, he made a good choice.
He did. Now, to not such a positive story, Marcelo Ozuna.
Tired of this guy,
DUI. Man. Jake, get him.
Look, get him out. I know the way the contract works. I need to get Tennessee's lawyers to somehow get their way out of it for calls. I'm sick of Marcelo Ozuna. He's nothing but a distraction. You get the domestic violence deal. Now you have this DUI. You have a young core of Atlanta Braves that are maybe as talented as they've ever had. And you have a great locker room. You don't need this poison walking around. Marcelo Ozuna needs to get his ass out of Atlanta. Alex, ship him off. Send him somewhere else. Send him to the Royals. Get rid of him. I know you may have to eat something, but with Michael Harris and Vaughn Grissom and Albies and Soroka and Freed and this young core you got, Austin Riley, get this guy away from him. He's a problem. He's a me guy. He's obviously not doing things. Braves are in a fight right now for the division, an absolute fight, and this guy's going out and get hammered and driving. Number one, it's dangerous for you to do that. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. You've made mistakes. But Marcelo Ozuna shows you time and time again, that he can't handle it. And you know what? When he did what he did last year and was off the team, what happened? Alex brought in guys that cared. Alex brought in guys that wanted to be there. You won a World Series. Get Marcelo Ozuna out of Atlanta. I'm sick of looking at him.
Agreed. Nebraska names Texas transfer Casey Thompson QB1. Can Nebraska have a winning season?
I hope so for Scott. I hope so. We talk about
season.
Yeah, we talk about Mario Cristobal, and just because you're a former player somewhere doesn't mean you're going to be a great coach. Just because you're a great player doesn't mean you're going to be a bad coach. But Casey Thompson was going to be the guy since he transferred over. We all know that story. I hope they can put something together, because if they don't this year, he's done. He's done at Nebraska. Yeah. And remember when he took that job, it was, we're back, GBR, go Big Red, all this stuff. They took money away from him, didn't they? Like Jim Harbaugh did. A little bit. But I hope so, because, man, Scott, a good Nebraska is good for college football, and it's just sad to see the slide that they've been on. But
there's maybe 7 or 8 games.
Go through it real quick.
Is that enough to keep his
I don't know if 7 is.
Season?
I don't know if 7 is.
Nebraska fans. 7 will.
Nebraska fans in the comment. How many?
But a winning season. So you go to Northwestern week 1.
That's a win.
North Dakota
State or
North Dakota
win.
Then you go Georgia Southern at home.
Win.
I have them losing that one.
Okay.
Of course you do.
Then you have Oklahoma at home.
Loss.
Indiana at home.
Win.
2 Rutgers.
Win.
2 Purdue.
Loss.
Illinois at home.
Win.
Minnesota at home.
Win.
Michigan on the road.
Loss.
Wisconsin at home.
God, that's a must-win for them.
That's a loss.
I'll give them a loss.
I'll give them a loss
at
too.
Iowa.
You got to win.
They can go win one of those 2.
You go win one of those 2.
They win one of those 2.
You know what? And I know him and Brian Harsin are in different situations, but I feel like the magic number for each of them is 8. Whether that's regular season or bowl game, I think you got to get to 8. I wonder if Nebraska may need 8 during the regular season, though, because, man, you get to 9. 9's a pretty number when you've been struggling. 9 is a crooked number. It's a pretty number. We'll see. I hope so.
It.
Meanwhile, talking about starting quarterbacks, Quinn Ewers. That was your next one?
Yep.
Sorry, I mean to jump the gun.
Nope.
Quinn Ewers was named the starting quarterback at Texas today. And you say, okay, well, we expect that he's supposed to be the dog. Apparently, from what's been said at fall camp, Card has been outplaying him the whole time. You heard about it in the media. Then all of a sudden, Sark said he don't want to talk about the quarterback battle or name a starter. Then today, they come out and name, not even Sark. Sark didn't come out and do it at the press conference. Somebody else did. They named Quinn Ewers a quarterback, and this is a part of NIL that we talked about when it was announced. Do you feel like Quinn Ewers won that job, or since they're paying him what they're paying him, and he's the heir apparent and got all this pub, that the boosters chose that? And I want to give Sark the benefit of the doubt. I want to give Sark the benefit of the doubt. But Texas has the same problem Auburn does. The boosters run that school. They don't give the head coach full control. And until you do that, you're going to stay on this hamster wheel. It just is what it is, especially in today's game. But, Cone, do you think the NIL money named Quinn Ewers?
I really hope not. I
hope not either.
I've spent time with Steve Sarkisian. He knows his quarterback.
He does.
I hope that if Quinn Ewers is starting at quarterback, it's because he's the best player on the field. And we were just talking about another franchise in Texas that has a problem not giving coaches control, and it's the Cowboys. Texas Austin and the Dallas Cowboys have a similar problem. You need to let Steve Sarkisian do his thing.
Yeah.
If you're Steve Sarkisian, if it's that, if the boosters are naming your starting
That's
quarterback,
what I said.
Get out now.
Get out now. You'll never be signed for success.
But hold on. Steve Sarkisian had to go to basically rehab. So,
okay, that's fine.
Steve Sarkisian, Alabama resurrected his career, the Falcons, all that stuff. But if everything was just clean hands.
But it's not like if Sark bailed, he couldn't get another job. Sark would get a good job somewhere, even in the NFL and in college.
You think he'd get another?
Yes.
If he left, he'd get another head job right away in college.
I still think he can do well as the head coach at Texas.
Me too, but
and if not
with that.
if not, some guys are just OCs.
I
and
just
he's a
have-
great one.
But like you're not gonna be able to do well with that. Your hamstring like that, like that. And this Hudson Card kid, I mean, that's fine. But he got beat out last year by a kid with a broken hand at quarterback. So if he's the guy, and I know Quentin Ewers is a true freshman.
Yeah, red shirt.
Well, he's a red shirt, but didn't he go
He
up?
played a little bit.
He was at Buckeye. He was with the
Yeah. So like, I know he's a true freshman, but the only thing I've been hearing out of the Texas campus is this kid's walking on water now. He can make all the throws. He can do this and do that. And if Hudson Card's going to be the guy that been playing better so far, and the booster had to make a decision for Steve Sarkisian to start Quentin Ewers, then I need to go back and relook at some schedules and maybe change.
You might need to.
I've heard, keeping up with their fall camp, I've heard that Quinn Ewers will make an amazing throw one time and then make an absolute horrible decision following that. It's just inconsistency. So, again, look, this is what worries me about NIL. You pay these kids this type money, they're going to have to play. You're going to have to play them. Like, because if this happens to 2 to 3 positions on your roster and you spent $8 million on those 3 players, how do you justify that? That makes you look so stupid. It makes you look like you don't know how to evaluate. Yeah. It's a dangerous game.
Got to play the best players. But last one I want to show you here is from Florida State. Exhibit A on some of their problems here. This is the official offer letter a kid got with official being misspelled.
Can Florida State not do anything right? Y'all can't spell official? There's an I in between the second F and the first C. Y'all are giving out degrees? That's bad. Nobody look. You know what? To me, that's laziness. That's laziness. Nobody's checking it. You're just trying to get the work done instead of doing your best work. And maybe that's why Florida State couldn't,
that's an official offer, man.
Score in the red zone if they wanted to.
That's bad. Nick Saban would never let that happen.
Never. Booster Club while I'm walking over the board of extreme
BJPS 09XU13 says, I was at a USC booster event when Steve Sarkisian showed up and he was hammered.
Yep, Patron.
Yeah. Well, look, if Lane Kiffin's going to get the benefit of the doubt in a fresh start,
I still,
too.
in my head, like when you said they were in meetings and Lane Kiffin would turn around in his chair.
I'll tell that story one day.
Dude, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. And he also says Nebraska's playing Northwestern in week 0. They play on,
there is not a week 0.
Week 0, and they play on August 27th, which is my birthday.
That is nice.
Week 0, also the first week of college football.
Yes.
It's also what we can call it.
It's week 1.
Fraley Ginger Gang says Purdue has winnable games at home versus Penn State and Iowa and at Wisconsin. If they win those 3 games, can they run the table? The rest of their schedule is a cakewalk.
We talked about it. Cone, they're your sneaky pick for the play.
We talked about it. I'm telling you, man, you beat Penn State at home in the blackout at 8 p.m., you can run that schedule.
It's a good look. And, again, we got them winning the West.
Just not the Big Ten championship,
Aiden O'Connell, big fan.
All right. Devin21, Jake, she wants to know, do you think Calzada will still win the starting QB job at Auburn?
Not looking like it. I wonder really how healthy he still is coming off that injury. But again, TJ Finley and Zach Calzada, how big of a difference do we got there? How big is that gap? I don't think it's that big. Now, neither one of them have to be elite. I don't think for Auburn to win 8 games, which I think is the number, including the bowl game. But it just goes to show you, TJ Finley, I know you can improve. Obviously, he has improved. Brian Harsin's a quarterback. He knows what he's looking at. But I don't know how top-level talented either one of those guys are. It's just the truth. But let's go to the bets. Speaking of top-level talent, 2-0 yesterday, who cares? Who cares? I don't care. Moving on. Give me New Orleans, Green Bay, over 38. Ian Book, open it up, read the coverage, and make a good decision. Andy Dalton, the Ginger Dragon, the Red Rifleman, came in, went 5 for 5 with a touchdown. And then look, Jordan Love, I know didn't look great. Okay, I know it's not the greatest situation. You did score 21 points. Guys, how about we just go in there, everybody's friends, 21-20. Let's just get the over. Last night, Pete Carroll, if I'd have been in the same room with you after you onside kick, I'm going to tell them this real quick. I took the under for the Seahawks-Bears at 39.5. It's 10-0 with 21 seconds to go till halftime. The Seahawks drop a punt that gets recovered in the end zone, so it's 17-0. Still not feeling bad. 17 times 2 is 34. Watching the game, it's 27-3 with 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go. You know, you're feeling good about it. Feel great. 9.5 is a weird number. It's the preseason. They're just trying to get it done. Seattle goes down and scores. Jacob Eason closes his eyes and makes a great throw. They ran the ball to score, but he got him down there. They go for 2. They get it. It's 27-11. That's 38. Then the Seahawks kick an onside kick in the preseason.
You got to work on it.
I was having a meltdown in the living room by myself. Even my animals were looking at me like something was going on, like I was having some sort of mental break. Then he drives them all the way down. Oh boy, almost catches a touchdown pass, but drops it, and they miss it they don't get it on 4th and goal. Then there's 31 seconds to go. The Bears just want to knee it out. It's preseason. You're down by 16, Pete. Little shriveled Pete. And then you're calling timeouts after the Bears take a knee.
That's bad.
That's bad, dude. That's bad. You had money on the game.
The onside kick.
Y'all spending Calvin Ridley for a whole year. Tell me Pete Carroll wasn't betting on that game. Tell me Pete Carroll didn't have the over. So anyway, if he'd have kicked the field goal, it would have been way too obvious. It'd have been way too obvious. But so give me Green Bay Saints over 38. Then that's going off at -110. Then give me the Mets, Phillies, Nerfy, Bassett, Nola. You're out. You're out. Let's get to the second. Cone, what are
the
you
Braves playing?
Astros.
Astros.
The Braves and the Mets are something.
Start a little stint with the Astros. Look, 2-0 yesterday. What's yesterday?
What is yesterday?
What is yesterday?
It's just a precursor for today.
0-0. Like, I neuralize myself after every pick. You know,
that's why.
Here's where we go. That's the problem.
That's why you can't remember who I am every morning.
I want Dodgers minus a run and a half at -126. Feeling the Dodgers tonight. Let's stay hot. And then
I thought you were going Dodgers money line. Did you go run line?
Going Rays money line.
Rays money line. Okay.
I'm going Dodgers minus a run and a half,
Gotcha.
-126. Rays money line with McClanahan on the mound, -200.
Ooh, he's
to be bet buds with Blaine's mustache.
Nice.
I think he's taking Rays.
That's super hot.
He's basically more famous than I am at this point. So,
He
hey,
is.
guys, I'm sticking with it. I'm not running from it. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I will bet this every day.
Tank of the Mustache Gate 2022.
I mean, I will, and I said I will, so I'm going to. So give me top of the first pitch. All right, I believe it's Dodgers Marlins.
Yep.
Plus 1,200. Just swing at it. I don't care if you miss it. All right, I really don't. Just swing at it, please. Don't throw a ball. Someone just hang a slider one time on the first.
Little get me over curve. Oops.
Like just something, you know. Will someone ground out on the first pitch? If this is asking too much, somehow I'm still only 14 and 18, which is I've missed this probably 11 times.
I feel like you have missed
this bet probably 11 times. I'm going Nerfy. Little Rays Royals -150. Hashtag we'll see.
Yeah. Baby Cone, he's going to ride with the Lightning, ride with the fear with me. He's going to go Mets, Phils, Nerfy -118. He's taking the Braves money line -124. Let's handle business against the Astros. Here we come, boys. Here we come. I'm ready for it. Together we can, divided we can't. Booster Club, real quick.
Poll. Who'll be the third best team in the SEC?
What are the options?
Them Razorbacks. All right. Them Aggies. And them Volunteers.
I'm going to say A&M 41%.
No Arkansas for you?
I'm saying what they're saying. You know who I'm picking.
So there's 3, so I see what you're doing there.
Yeah, it's
Split.
math.
Yeah. I'll say Texas A&M 40%.
Whew. Well,
What are you saying?
I thought y'all knew. I'm going to go. I thought y'all knew the Booster Club. Who will be the third best team in the SEC? Arkansas, 46%.
Let's go.
Texas A&M 32%. Tennessee 22%.
They know who to listen to. They know who to listen to. You love to see it. Speaking of who to listen to, Al Caramba, welcome to Valhalla, my friend. 10-0, Hall of Famer.
Congrats.
Hey, I'm going to send you the link where you put in your address. You've won some merch. Really hard to do. Again, so proud of these guys. I'm just shocked at how many people have gone 10-0 with the minus 200 odds cap. He's going to take
German soccer.
I'm going to try to say this. Mönchengladbach, minus 190, German soccer. There it is. Good luck to those guys. Just don't get around and get pissed. BJPS09XU13, 6-0. Rays Royals. He's going to go Royals money line at minus 200 there with you.
Wait, hold on.
Is your bet buds there?
Yeah, but I'm taking.
Wait, you're
Think
taking.
he meant Rays money line? Because that minus 200 is the Rays.
He may have meant Rays money line. We'll look at it. Blaine's mustache is taking Rays money line at minus 200. B. Cercio's 4-0. Look at Ben figuring it out.
Yeah.
Kyle Wright over 4.5 Ks at plus 100. He did look good in his last start after absolutely post-Maloning and falling apart when I decided to take the Nerfy. Angelo 680. Angelo 685's 4-0. Sugar Shane over 4.5 Ks coming in dicing it up. C-Step 04 is 2-0. He's going to take the pods, minus 1.5. Dragon B. Flamin', of course, it's 1-0. He's 1-0. Dodgers first 5, minus a half. It's going off at minus 155. Katie Rose, 1191, 1-0. Cutter Crawford, what a baseball name. Under 3.5 earned runs allowed. I believe it with a name like that. Private Chonky, go over 0-3. He's taking the Galaxy money line, minus 115. Trevor Robinson, fade this man.
Fade this man.
Fade this man. He's 0-5. He's taking the Rams-Texans over 37. Smells like the under.
I definitely have to.
Are you taking that too?
No, I'm taking the Packers-Saints over 38.
So it definitely has to be the Rays money line in that bet because the Royals are plus 160.
Perfect. Good adjustments, guys. Life's a game of adjustments. Parting thoughts?
Should we sleep in the studio Sunday night?
Maybe. It's going to be an early morning.
Wait, y'all been sleeping?
Y'all got beds?
You have parents?
Y'all had parents? You had a room?
Hey, new showtime.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We're really excited to be in drive time. So you wake up, you'll be able to find us live, kicking on at 7:30 Eastern, going all the way to 9. We're adding that 30 minutes. Going to put a lot of betting in. We're going to start doing fantasy stuff as well. Not the stuff you're thinking about, fantasy football, that last 30 minutes. Brought to you by DraftKings. Really excited. Big guest list coming on next week. Rusty Manziel, Barrett Sallee, Brian Driscoll from Notre Dame, Cole Kubelik, Tim Brando. Big Game Boomer are going to be collabing on lists. People are either excited or really pissed about that, but that's a part of it. I'm not going to bring on people that we disagree with because we call that The View, and I'm not doing that. So we appreciate you guys. Make sure you're subscribed everywhere. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram, all the platforms. We'll see you early Monday, but we do have a great Saturday special tomorrow that we've already done. Yes. It's Sports Betting 101. Yes. We've been asked, please tell us the basics for us that don't know. We went total elementary school. We even wore the cool hats.
Put it on, Coney.
Put it on, Cone.
Put it on, Cone.
Good. You look like you're an accountant back in the 40s. But no.
Put it on a horse 14. See?
I got a bunch of flapper girls here.
He's going to win. I know.
But no, we appreciate you guys. And like the chances of the Yankees actually winning the World Series this year. We're going, gone